Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Conscious Conversations. I have a special guest for you lot today. Yeah, this is one of the first few-ish episodes. Maybe, I don't know if I'm going to make you the first or the second. But early episodes of Walks with a Revert. I have one of my good friends with me. He's a motivational speaker. You know, he does what he does. Introduce yourself. Introduce yourself.
This one, yeah?
That's your camera, yeah.
This is my camera.
That's your camera.
What's up, guys? I'm KHALEEM the speaker, your favourite motivational speaker. Keep that in mind. I'm from Leicester, and I'm 24 years old.
Wow, selling yourself to the people already.
You gotta be done.
Wow, okay, cool. That's all right. So, tell us about, motivational speaking. Why is that your career? What made you even gravitate to that? All of that sort of stuff.
To be fair, there was a number of things that took me there, but my biggest thing was, as most people start things, is my depression. When I was depressed, I felt I was in such a state where I just wanted somebody to be able to relate to what I'm feeling and what I'm doing. Do you understand? Yeah. So I'm not saying that I didn't have anybody, but anybody I spoke to things about couldn't really.
The wavelengths weren't the same.
It just wasn't connecting. Do you understand? And it took it was deep and it was hard.
Yeah.
Not just saying I didn't have anybody. Obviously, there was two main people that were like there.
They had you
there.
Yeah.
But again, it was just that last little bit to be like, this is it. This is what you need to do. Go with that. Do you know what I mean?
Cool.
So, and because at the time I was working as a lifeguard as well. So working as a lifeguard, you spend a lot of time with yourself. So in a state like that,
especially in the whole UK.
Yeah, it's long. It's long.
Who are you saving? Really and truly.
Listen, I couldn't even save myself, and I was dry. So anybody that was wet, it was long. But anyway, so I spent a lot of time with myself, and there was a guy. I was working with a guy, close friend of mine, who was going through something at the time. So as I was talking to him, I was kind of coaching him through his thing, and he said, what you've said, like I'm gonna put into practice and whatever. So he went off, did his thing, then he come back. I think it was a couple of days later because we had a shift together again, and he was like, "Listen, I've been doing what you've been saying, what you said to me the other day, just to put it into practice, see if it worked, and it's actually working. So I appreciate you for that." And then
that's mad. How'd that make you feel, knowing that someone actually took what you said and there was a positive outcome? Like you helped somebody without even noticing that you helped somebody.
See, with me, that's where I have to remain humble in this. I feel whatever I say or whatever I talk about, whatever I preach in a sense, isn't essentially me.
Cool.
It's the Most High
God
talking to you through me. Not saying I'm a prophet or anything like that.
God forbid.
Anything like that. I'm just saying,
the people will come for
you've made a prayer to God and God has used me to talk to you. That's it. I'm the middleman a bit, essentially.
Okay, do you know what? I actually read something today on Twitter, and someone said, and I proper related to it, and I even retweeted it. That's how you know I was really here for this comment, yeah? They were like, why would you practice positive affirmations or manifestations when you can pray? And I think that's so deep because I've had this conversation with too many people, yeah, when it comes to manifestation. And I've said to them, if you're a person of faith, like manifestation is praying anyways. It's like when you pray, you're making dua, you're doing all of these things. That's manifestation. And I think people have came and took this word and separated it from faith and given it like a whole new concept. And I think it's interesting for you as a motivational speaker. That's essentially what you do verbally, right? It's an outward manifestation. Yeah. So what do you think of that? What do you think of that?
With what I do, and essentially, even though it is that, I understand why people separate it because
you're a person of faith.
Pardon?
Because you're a person of faith.
I'm a person of faith, but as well when I'm talking, I have to. There are times I have to avoid certain words because as soon as people hear God or faith or religion, people tend to step back because obviously. They don't know how I don't know if they don't know how to deal with it, something they don't believe in, but as soon as them words come into play, people turn off, but it's like, do you know what I mean? But everyone just thinks that automatically you're a Jehovah's Witness, like it's to talk the word of God and Jesus and them things there. But obviously that's not the case. It's just that,
there's nothing wrong with that.
No, of course not. I'm not saying that. It's just that there are people out here that will shut off for them things. Do you understand? So I understand why people separate it. But again, I have to try and teach it in a way or preach it in a way.
Right.
Where I'm letting you know what you're doing is you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, God's involved. So I have to hide it in a sense. Do you understand?
Okay.
So it's tricky to explain it. It's difficult.
It's not.
When I'm in the zone, when I'm speaking, doing what I'm doing, it's there.
You're a non-conventional teacher. That's what you are. You teach without teaching traditionally. Would you not put yourself in that bubble? I would.
You know what? Yeah, I will agree. But I you know what it is? I don't like the word teacher.
Why?
As much as I don't like the word teacher, because I'm everything that I do. I have listen. I'm still a student. I will always remain a student. Do you understand? Yeah. And obviously, the greatest teachers are those that remain a student.
Facts.
Do you understand? So.
It's technically your teacher.
No, because I'm still remaining as a student.
Yeah, but you said the greatest teacher is somebody that remains a student.
Yeah, so you're going back to the original thing.
But that would make you a teacher.
No, I'm still a student.
Am I bugging?
No, I'm still a student. I'm still a student. No. Don't do this.
You will always be a student regardless.
I'm still a student.
But the greatest teacher is going to forever be a student. Because they're always learning. But that doesn't take away from the fact that you teach.
So I'm a student. No, going back to the original form. I am a student.
Okay.
I am a student.
I'll give you
okay,
that.
KHALEEM, whatever is the teacher. No, I'm a student.
Alright, cool.
Because I have to play sacrificial lamb and go through certain things. You know what I mean?
Okay.
In order to talk, and I'm not a teacher. I'm a speaker. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a priest or anything like that. That's it.
I hear you.
That's
but
it.
Don't you think somebody that speaks to people, like, if you said something to me and I took that with me and I went and now have bettered my life for that, you've taught me something, whether you like it or not. Whether you think you're conventionally a teacher or not, you are. That's why I said that to you, because the title, a speaker, a preacher, a this, a that, and the, it's just another label. Let's keep it real. Like, what you do is from your actions. It's from how people receive it. Do you get it? So I think you're a teacher. Period. How do you feel about that?
First of all, let's go back and I said I don't like the word teacher, yeah? Because I feel I'm not a teacher, yeah? I use the quote with the word teacher. Doesn't mean I'm a teacher. I'm still a student in what I do.
Why are you so against this word? What is the reason?
Because it holds
value.
No, it's not the I. Let's not even go into this. We
can go into it.
No. Let's not.
All right, go on.
Okay.
Why not?
It's just It's just one of them things. You know, people when doing certain things, it's like when you hear certain words. That's not me, because I feel you have to hold some form of leverage. I've not been in the speaking game that long to be called a teacher yet. Do you understand?
Okay.
So like I've had people come to me and say, you know, I'm still a baby in this. But I've had people come to me and say, I want to do what you're doing, can you help coach me through it? I will coach you through it, but understand I'm not a coach. Understand I'm not a teacher. I'm still in the process of learning.
So you feel like you need to hit a certain level to earn that title?
Of course. It's like it's like, okay, so for example, I used to do a job as a PE. My job role was PE teaching assistant.
Okay.
Now as an assistant, what do? You assist. Exactly.
Right.
These lot threw me, with the school that I worked at, threw me in the deep end. There was no other PE teacher. It was just me.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking,
that's not
I'm
my
not.
job.
Do you know what I mean? This isn't me. And the job that I did that job for a year, I couldn't do that to the best of my ability because I feel I didn't understand the right things. This is my first time working in a school. Do you understand? They gave me no curriculum. Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't understand the terms and what needed to be taught in these certain things. Do you understand?
Okay.
So that in itself.
Can I tell you what the difference is? You didn't want to be. You signed up to be an assistant, and they threw you in the deep end. You want to be a speaker. That makes you a teacher. Teaching isn't. There isn't a specific way to teach. Like, I like to say I'm a non-conventional teacher just through how I speak to people. Do you get it? People speak to me and open up to me, and we talk about things, and they take from it and they go and live their life. Do you get it? So me personally, I'm gonna slap that title on myself, but I think you fit into that bubble personally. Because you signed up to be a PE teaching assistant and they made you the teacher. That's not the same thing. You want to do this.
Yeah, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
But in order for me to teach, when I'm just building my own platform, that's what I don't like the word teacher.
Okay, that's fine.
Do you understand? That's what I'm saying. I don't like the word teacher.
Cool.
KHALEEM, can you coach me? KHALEEM, can you teach me? When I was coaching basketball, I was qualified to do that. And that is something I wanted to do. So when these kids wouldn't address me as coach,
right,
they would run.
So isn't a coach and a teacher the same thing?
Are you not listening to what I'm saying?
If someone came to you and was like, yo, I want to do what you're doing, can you coach me through it? Are you not teaching them?
Listen.
This is going to turn into a whole debate.
It
I'm
is. I'm
ready for this.
You're not
right
listening.
now.
You're not listening to what I'm saying.
But I'm making.
If somebody,
sense.
okay, if you come to me, say, KHALEEM, I want to be a speaker.
Right.
Can you help me? Can you teach me? I will let you know. I am not my. It's like when you go to anybody of knowledge within Dean, you say, okay, bro, bro, can you teach me things? The first thing they will say to you is, I am not a scholar.
Of course, but a scholar. No.
No.
You're putting levels.
Let me finish.
What a teacher
Let
is.
me finish. Yeah.
Alright, go on.
It's the first thing they address, and that's the same thing that I do. I am not a teacher. I am not a coach, but I will help you with whatever it is I will advise you on what you need.
Okay, clearly we think of teaching as two different things. That's what it is. Because if you're going to use the scholar as an example, that means that you're seeing teaching as there's levels to it. Do you get it? I think anybody that you can learn from, anyone that you can teach something to, you're a teacher, especially if it's within what you do. I'm saying every I guarantee you right now, every video that you release, someone has learned something from it. Or someone has gone and taken what you've said and applied it to their lives.
Inshallah.
You're teaching.
Inshallah.
I'm not bugging. Like, that's what I think a teacher is. But let's
I'm just trying to give a different perspective on life. Because if you're told one thing, listen, if you're told one thing, right, if you're told you're going to be this constantly all the time.
Okay, cool.
But if someone else comes along and says, okay, cool, no, you're not going to be this. You can go and do this.
Right.
And you look at that perspective, you look at that lane and go, okay, that's actually quite interesting. That's not me. I'm just telling you, instead of going this way, you can also go this way and go to the same place if that's where you want to go.
I didn't know that was a thing. So if someone's, for example, when uni was just a thing and now people are doing apprenticeships, if I now go to my sister and go like, you can be doing this as a different route besides this, you don't have to go the traditional route. I've taught her that there's a whole other avenue she can pursue.
It's not really just saying that you can go this way.
Next topic. Next topic. It's actually, this is so interesting because I wanted to ask you what the route to your career was like. What is it that holds you down? And I think everybody, especially when they're proper passionate about what they do, they'll have their days where maybe they're not getting as much love or they're not getting as much feedback, or even for you're a content creator in that sense. Anyways, if we're going to go to the social side of things, don't fight me on this. But sometimes you might not come up with something you're too passionate to talk about, or you'll have your days, innit? So what is the root of, like, what keeps you going and what makes you not want to give up on what you do, you know? Whether it's your mental health, your journey, whatever, like, speak on it.
I have to do this in terms of nobody's going to bring it for me. Do you know what I mean? And I've invested too much in it now in order to stop. It's like, these tops, I sell them, do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Now there's people
link
like...
in the description.
I sell them, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like now, not only have I invested in myself, but people have invested in me. Mm-hmm. In terms of they've spent their money, their wages, whatever, buying a top to wear wherever it is that they wear it. Mm-hmm. Do you understand? So now, again, so not only have I invested, but other people have now invested as well. So, and on top of that, there are things that I want to achieve in life in terms of, the usual stuff, being a parent, you want to be a positive role model to your kids, et cetera, et cetera. And even like in terms of being a partner or husband, there are certain things that I feel as a man that I myself have to achieve because I feel, we all have our own guide to what a man or what a person should be. Do you know what I mean? What kind of male or female or whatever it is that you decide to class yourself as. Do you know what I mean? As
so
what...
Continue.
Do you know what I mean? So you have a guide of what it is that you want to do, and that and this adds to mine. And as well, not only it, essentially as well, God, again, everything that I do, God plays a massive part in.
Of course.
100%.
Right.
Everything that I do. So it's like, even on this day, I don't feel it. Do you know what I mean? I see it as Allah is just putting things in my way to be like, okay, KHALEEM, one, you need to get around this. Because essentially, any obstacle that I come across makes a talking topic.
Right. Facts.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
It becomes a talking topic. So God goes, okay, cool. Even though you're having a bad day, there's that there. One, I'm testing you so you can get around that. There's something else for you to talk about. Two, I need you to see that you are about this, because of any obstacle that is put in your way is there for you.
Do you know what? Talk about the moment you realise this is it for me. Like, I remember having a realisation of what I wanted to do, and I was like, I was born for this. It sounds mad, but I remember laying in my bed one time, and my family, my immediate family, we're the only creative heads. Like, my sister writes books, she draws, she's an artist, like all that sort of stuff. Like, I'm everyone else in my family is very academic, all the sciences, all the other stuff. And I remember telling my parents, like, Mum, Dad, like, I want to be a film director. They looked at me mad. They looked at me like, my first child, she doesn't want to do science. My dad almost cried. It was an experience. My dad always wanted me to be a teacher, all that sort of stuff. But I remember laying there thinking, nah, like, this is what I want to do. And it's, you know, when you pray and you have those moments where you're very overwhelmed and you just start crying out of nowhere. Like, you're very emotional within your prayer. Like, your soul is tapped in, you're aligned. It was one of the moments for me anyways. I don't know if yours was that dramatic, but speak to me.
I want it to be. I wish it had been, but I've not had a crying moment, but I had a
moment. I didn't cry. But it was no one in here has seen me cry, okay? I don't cry.
I was gonna say, no, there's been things where it's like the realization has kicked in, and it's happened a few times because I've always been unsure. Even though I've prayed, Allah has allowed little things to happen. And one of the biggest things was, and I remember because Umar grilled me for this. I had messaged E.T. the hip hop preacher, who is the big preacher, the biggest one in the world.
Right.
And I was gassed that I'd messaged him, and he'd replied and advised me on what it is that I wanted to do. So for me, as much as I'd been praying, I'd like generally asking Allah, is this me? Is this what I'm doing now? Me.
Is it correct? Am I right?
And there was little things that were popping up, people, wanting to talk to me, people asking me to come and do certain scripts, whatever. But it was always like, is that just because you're trying to do your thing as well as what I'm doing? And then it was like, Allah was like tired of me asking, like, KHALEEM, this is you.
Just do it.
Yeah, here's E.T. the biggest. That's like being a musician. And sending Drake your tune, and Drake goes, yeah, that's banging. Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like the biggest in the game.
It's confirmation.
So when that happened, I was like, okay, cool. This is it. Do you know what I mean? God, sorry for asking so many times, but I hear you now.
Yeah,
do you understand?
I see the messages.
Yeah, but as a child, sometimes you have to be reminded, like a certain amount of times, innit? Especially having twins.
Yeah. Don't do that. Oh my God. Okay, let's talk about your journey to faith then, because clearly, like you said, God plays a massive role in everything that you do, and you feel like, despite your achievements, it will always go back to God.
100%.
So where did that mentality come from? Like, what's your journey into faith? Like, what was your mentality before faith? Did you even believe in God?
I've always been skeptical about a higher being.
Okay, cool.
In certain, because my grandma was Caribbean, so she went church a lot, and anytime I'd stay with her,
it was church.
Church was on the list. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't avoid it, couldn't dodge it at all. And obviously, so I've had from young, I've had a understanding of God,
right?
But I just didn't know where to put my faith because there were so many different religions, etc., etc. And it wasn't until I met Umar and we'd come into like proper contact with each other. And there was one Ramadan a couple years ago, about 6 years ago, and I had
more now.
About
really?
6, 7 years ago.
Like, I was about 18, but yeah, no, 6 years ago.
Maths. No maths. No maths.
Yeah, about 6
Just
years.
Vibes.
About 6 years ago.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah, about 6 years ago, and it was during the summer. So Ramadan was during the summer, so the days were long, and this child did not leave my house. Or we didn't. To be fair, we didn't leave each other's side for about 2 weeks. All in all, do you know what I mean? So I said, you know what? Out of respect, so the days that you're with me,
that's a whole relationship.
I'm gonna listen.
You lot are jerked by the flipping.
Yeah, before even Philly and Chunks and them man there, me and him.
Before
them man, we were doing what we were doing. You know what? We need a whole podcast episode just telling you the stories that this man has put me through.
Wow.
You know what? That's what it is.
He wants to put you on blast.
Half an hour ago, we were debating about a certain event that went on in our life.
You stole a car.
No.
Wow! Give us the story.
No, I didn't steal no car. But anyway. But yeah, so the days that I was with him, I thought, out of respect, I'll fast with you. So like,
oh, interesting.
Little things like that, obviously got me asking questions, and we used to stay up till like 6, 7, one time 8 o'clock in the morning, just talking about religion and whatever. Then, do you know what I mean? And it was like what we talk about just made so much sense.
Do you know what? That's probably the best entry point for you as well, because.
Fasting during the summer, the long days.
No, I promise you it is, because when you're fasting, especially during the Ramadan, that's the one time that you can guarantee that your mind, your soul, and like Like your body literally, so your literal physical health, your mental health and your spiritual state are aligned. So that is probably the best entry point for you, because you get to experience that without actually being in it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you have to understand as well, it takes a while for you to get to that mentality.
No,
so
yeah, for sure.
being someone that's interested in the religion, you're told, yeah, you can't eat for about 20 hours. It's like...
It was defo 16. It wasn't 20. Defo. I remember counting the hours back in the day. What? I used to count every hour there was, just so I knew what time to wake up.
Okay, so you didn't do Ramadan properly then.
Are you alright? Why? I was prepped.
No, I'm joking. So it's like, so obviously the first thing you hear about fasting is like you can't eat, you can't drink, so you go, do you know what I mean? Like something, but anyway, that didn't really become a major issue. But as I'm saying, so as we spoke about things just made sense.
Yeah.
Things were just making sense. I was like, okay, and I was going through things within myself, so I felt very lost at the time. Do you know what I mean? I was trying to live this lifestyle that clearly wasn't me. I'm too sensitive for that. You can't have sensitive road, man. Like, you just can't do it. You can't do it.
That's how you know you're from the Midlands, you know?
Like, wash him. Why? Just there, you know what I mean? No. Do you know what I mean? So, and at the time as well, you know, I was involved in basketball, and that was a big thing for me. Again, me and Umar. Do you know what I mean? So there was I just didn't know where to place myself, and I feel when I started learning about Islam, I was starting to put myself back in line with myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so how I describe it is, my life before Islam was like bowling. So being the bowling ball, going down the lane with the sides down. So obviously at any point you can land in the gutter. Do you understand?
Wow, that's deep.
And the only way you're coming out is if you get a lucky bounce, which we all know some dodgy people, which I feel you might be that get
Don't even
go
point
in the
that
gutter and
energy
get
my
there.
direction. Don't even.
So you get the lucky bounce and come out. But it's like when I found Islam, the sides of the lane were up, and it's like there is no physical way for me to end up in the gutter.
Yeah.
Because Allah is there now. Do you know what I mean? And I do feel, Alhamdulillah, I do feel that He is, because even in the midst of my depression, and when I was like, even there, I was deep in that, deep.
Yeah.
But even still, I was like, no, like it's not. Do you know what I mean? It's not as bad as it once was. It's not going to be. Things are going to get better. Do you understand? So that's how I described my life before, and then it wasn't. And I think it was the following year.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was the following year. Said to Umar invited me round to a friend of ours at the time's house, who literally happened to live right around the corner from me. So I've gone there now, and Umar's family sheikh was there, and he was talking to me. He said, "Oh, Umar said that you're looking to convert to Islam." I said, "Yeah, I'm just looking to learn as much as I can before, obviously, giving myself to the religion." Right. And I remember, I'll now never forget this. He said to me, "You'll never, if that's the case, you'll never convert." Yeah. And I looked at him like, "Well, I will, but in my own time." Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And he said, because what it is like you're treating Islam like a destination when in fact it's a journey. So I was like, okay. And then since then as well, when me and Umar have been talking, it's like I've always needed it, because Umar's used that same word for word, the same sentence. So it's like, or it's like a reoccurring thing, and it's something that's always stuck. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, cool. And then as soon as he said that, that night, KHALEEM was born. That same night. I think it must have been about 20 minutes later.
That's so bad.
Alhamdulillah.
That's lit.
And then ever since then, I'm like, I've never made a better decision than that. It's by far the best decision I've ever made and will ever make in my entire life.
Facts. Do you know what? I want to speak on your choice of name as well, because KHALEEM was born when you reverted technically. Did you pick that name then and there? How did that come along?
So I went on my phone and I went on my notes, and I was looking at all these Islamic names, Googling Islamic names, and I did like a poll. And I did like a poll, and I narrowed it down as I went on. I looked at names like Naeem, because originally my name was Cayman. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I tried to stick with K, and looked at all I looked at Khalil, I even looked at Khalid, but that can't be done. I mean, that came up, I was like, oh, Khalid, and I was like, no, it can't be done. Do you know what I mean? There was all these different names. I looked into like Naeem, and I went into all these different letters, but
all the Eames, all of them had Eames in them.
Yeah. Even Hakeem as well, but yeah. But it's like KHALEEM was from the beginning, and
Right.
as I narrowed it down, it was one that always stayed.
Yeah.
So when I got to like my last year, I just thought, you know what, KHALEEM.
You know what KHALEEM means in Arabic?
Speak.
Yeah. That's mad.
And
You know when I first...
I didn't realise that until I started speaking.
That's so lit. You see how God just places things in your life and you're like...
And that's what I mean. So now it's like when I was looking at all them names, KHALEEM was there, and it made it to the last one. Why?
Kelem, to speak.
When it made it to like the last few, and then like a few years later or whatever it was, I now decided to be a motivational speaker or a public speaker. Why?
So back then you didn't know that was what you were gonna go into.
Nah,
Oh,
it's not even something. I didn't even know that you could make a job from it.
Yeah.
So obviously I know schools get people in to talk and whatever. But it wasn't until I looked into it. It's like, oh, this can actually be a thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So.
I didn't know that, you know. I thought you always wanted to be, like, you knew what you wanted to do.
No. Well, I did. I wanted to play basketball, but that went out the way.
Oh, yeah.
I ain't got the
So
name.
you're not a teacher though?
Okay, okay.
No. I hate the word.
No, I got what both of you were trying to say.
No, you know I'm making sense, though.
No, because wait, you're cool.
Yeah. You know I'm
Do you want a chair? Do you want
Drop the spotlight. Oh, my goodness. Okay, yeah. So... Now you've reverted, what was the support like, family, friends, what was the reactions like? Because you didn't plan to actually take your shahada that night, and it happened.
Yeah.
So you had to go home that night and sleep in your bed. And what did I do?
To be fair, my mum knew that it was something I was looking into, because I did let it be known to her that it is something I'm looking into and interested in. And my mum is very open-minded. She's very spiritual, but just I like how I was. She believes in God, but she just doesn't know where to put it.
Yeah.
And
she's good with that.
Yeah. So she's been with somebody who was Muslim as well, so it kind of helped the situation. So it's like even that as well. It's like God planted that there
to make it easier.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like God really does
exist.
Do you know what I mean? So
everything's
it's like,
written, you know, for a reason as well. So
it's like when I told her, she was fine with it. She was just like, okay, as long as you do it correctly, don't just do it for the sake of doing it. Which is, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then as well, like friends, I've not really lost anybody from it. Everybody was quite supportive. Obviously, the hardest bit for them was the name change. That's it.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Because they've always known you as.
Because they've known for years. I've been Cayman. So for me to one day go, I'm KHALEEM. Do you know what I mean?
This is who I am now.
Yeah, I am KHALEEM.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Does no one call you Cayman anymore?
My mum does,
right.
But even when she does, I don't really respond to it now because
Really?
It doesn't feel like me. It's not me anymore. Yeah. Do you understand? It's not me. Like I still obviously when I'm ordering packages and stuff, I have to put that name, but until I've changed it like legally. But when I hear that name, I don't really. It takes me a while to respond to it.
You know, you're the only revert I know that's changed their name.
So
yeah.
See how I seen it as this. What I was taught is obviously when you convert, obviously all your sins, basically you're getting a new start of life. So I was like, okay, cool. What I did with this name, who I was trying to be, is no longer around. So essentially that person has died. Yeah?
Okay.
So if God is giving me a new start, I'm gonna start myself new.
Cool.
Do you understand?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So and off that I've built. So if I was to tell you, who I was to who I am now, I generally feel two completely different people. Yeah. Do you understand? It's just I just look the same.
How was that transition to go from being one type of way on foolishness to another type of way trying to be?
You know what? I didn't notice it until I became focused on doing this, doing speaking. I didn't really notice who I've now become and who I've molded myself, because obviously I've learned things through Islam and people, etc., and I've embodied these beliefs and these understandings.
Faith, yeah.
So obviously it's molded me in a way to be who I am. Does that make? Obviously, you get what I'm saying, innit? Like.
So would you say that?
So it wasn't until that I started focusing on speaking.
Yeah.
And then someone said to me like, "Oh, like, what did you do before this?" Then I actually went back and
like
re-looked at it and I was like, "Wow."
Moment, yeah.
Like KHALEEM, you really did change. Like you really did, which I'm grateful for.
That's mad. It's, you know what? I know I've met a couple people. Yeah, if you were to see them back in the day, you would think it's impossible. How did you even like? But people don't understand how God is so real. Yeah. I know it's mad, but God is so real.
One of the biggest things. So two of the biggest people for me as well.
Yeah.
That kind of went from, not saying that I was this bad, but like they've gone from bad to good. It's like obviously Umar bin al-Khattab and Malcolm X.
Look at it.
Don't know if we've noticed, but do you know what I mean? Big. Do you know what I mean? So obviously Malcolm went from being a drug dealer, a pimp, to doing all these bad things to becoming one of the best that I feel civil rights black leaders that we've ever had.
Right, yeah.
Do you understand? Yeah. Umar ibn al-Khattab went from being someone that absolutely hated Islam, believed he was sent to kill the Prophet, to then becoming one of the Prophet's right-hand men.
It's mad, isn't
and
it?
to it being said, if there was to be another Prophet after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it would have been Umar. So like that in itself, do you understand? So it's like, even though a person was like this in this lifetime, doesn't mean that they can't go on the other, do you know what I mean? Completely change.
So let's talk about, I'm not going to say teaching, I'm going to say mentorship, yeah? So did you have people or a specific person of knowledge or whatever that you kind of took on as a mentor? Or it could have just been your boys, like it could have just been
in terms of what, faith?
In terms of faith, so say...
Oh, in terms of faith, then, you know, Umar, you got Umar, you got Khalid, friend Emma Briggs, got a few people.
You have a little circle.
Yeah, that we're all kind of intertwined with.
Cool.
Who I met through Umar. So.
Were you ever overwhelmed?
Well, 100%, but not in a.
Not in a negative
kind of
way.
feeling,
Like,
it's
whoa,
like,
this is a lot.
Yeah, like never in a negative way. It's like
yeah.
I don't want this conversation to end, whether it be face to face, whether it be Zoom, whether it be group chat, whatever it is.
You got jumped on Zoom.
Yeah. Listen, but there was never. I never wanted it to end. Do you understand?
Okay,
so
cool.
and every time, and that's when I had that overwhelming feeling like this really does make sense, and I like nothing in that moment could have. I felt nothing could have upset me when doing them things.
I'm gonna send you a video. Yeah, you should study the journey of the souls. I think you'd be really, 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 really interested in that, because it kind of aligns. I send it to all of my revert friends, because it's funny in how what I'm gonna say. Like, it won't make sense, but it makes sense. Like, it kind of aligns with every revert story when you understand the journey your soul goes through. Do you get it? So even being in this physical world, we're in the third world. Do you get it? Like, our soul has been in 2 other worlds prior to this, and it's going to be another 3. So yeah, I'm gonna send you that. Like that. Oh my god. Okay, cool. So, boom. You're a revert now. You come to the dean. You found your peoples. You know what you want to do. What was the hardest thing that you had to give up? Besides your name, I don't know how hard that was for you, but besides your name, like anything physical that you used to do, what was the hardest thing you had to give up? And what was the easiest thing that you had to adopt?
Not that this is a bad thing.
You can laugh if you need to laugh. I can feel him holding it in.
You know, I can hear him.
You can speak on anything.
I can hear him.
It's a safe space, okay?
No, it's not. It's really not. For you it is. For me it's not. But in the same sense, as much as it's not a safe space for me, it's not a safe space for him.
No, it's
so all I'm saying is, Umar, we can do this.
I didn't say anything. Did I say anything? I was saying it right.
It can literally be anything. It's a safe space. Genuine.
I'm quite a proud and stubborn person. So to give anything up for the sake of something that I believe in, was never really a struggle.
Not safe.
Yeah, so giving anything up, there's nothing really.
How old are you when you were invited?
20. I was 20 years old.
Wow. So you're how many years into the game? 5, 4.
4. Going into my 5th, so 2nd of July will be my 5th year.
Wow, you baby. 5 years of age. Look at you. Okay.
Baby of knowledge.
So, baby of knowledge, not a teacher. Okay. Alright, what was the easiest thing to
I don't like the word teacher.
We'll circle back to this at the end.
Okay, cool.
We'll circle back to this because I'm going to win this argument. What was the easiest thing for you to do?
I hope she got enough memory cards, because I swear to God.
Oh my god. Yeah, what was the easiest thing for you when you came into the dean?
The easiest thing?
Like, was it physical? Was it understanding? Was it, like, routine? Was it, like, how was, okay, let me change this question. when it comes to praying, when it comes to fasting, when it comes to doing the fundamental things that are physical, how was that?
Okay, so saying it that way, you've highlighted something. So obviously praying was the hardest. Okay. Fasting wasn't too bad because I'd already done it before. And then the more I learned, the deeper aspects as to why we fast. Do you know what I mean? It didn't really become a struggle as much. Do you know
what was it about praying that?
It's from going from extreme to extreme. That was the struggle. So going from never not really praying at all to now where I've got to pray 5 mandatory. Do you know what I mean? That was a big struggle. And I thought, I've got to pray. Do you know what I mean? 5 times a day. Boom, boom, boom. I got to be there.
How was that? Did you build it up? Did you just go?
I've tried many ways. I've tried to jump straight in, do the 5, work for a bit, fell off. Right. For about 2 days, but
wow.
And then there were times where I didn't pray. There were times I prayed once a week, but then now in this state that I'm in now, this person I'm being now, I had to build it up. Yeah. And that's what I chose to do because I was taught by Umar. You're the teacher, not me. Do you understand? So
you're a student.
No, he's a teacher.
Yeah, but you're the student. So technically.
So we're agreeing with what I said, yeah? No, okay, no, it's cool. It's fine.
You dropped yourself in that.
No, I didn't.
No. You've done it. So instead of going back, it's there. If this is edited out, I am suing. I am done.
I'm actually gonna go mad. You said that a continuous student is a teacher. So you yourself.
So what did you say? A continuous student
is a teacher.
But where do you start? Okay, thank you.
What does that even mean? Okay,
you start as a student.
That's fine, but you're okay. Do you know what? Actually, I'll end up fighting you. So continue saying what you're gonna say in it.
What was the question? No, okay. So praying. So building it up, it was. So now building it up, it's easy. And it wasn't until I thought I had to go straight in, boom, 5. But it wasn't until Umar kind of taught me that it's something he'd been taught that it's like as long as you're on the path to Allah, you are on the right path. Obviously, getting to 5 is the right thing that you need to do. Right. But as long if let's say, God forbid, I died on the path of only praying 3 times a day, everything that you do falls down to intention. If I am intending to build it up, I am intending to pray, and my prayer is sincere. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, facts.
Do you understand? So understanding it that way kind of took the pressure off, and it was like, okay, cool. You've not got to do 5. Build it up. So I started off, praying once a week. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, praying 1 a day. That's what it was. Praying 1 a day. Praying 1 a day, and then it was pray that one on time.
Do you remember what prayer that was?
It was always a night prayer.
Isha.
So Isha. So it was always Isha. So it was always a night
prayer. I don't know why
that
took me so long to get.
So yeah, it was always a night prayer that I do, and then it was like get that one on time.
Why Isha? Do you know? Do you have a reason, or was it just convenience?
Just because I was because I was lazy in a sense. Because obviously in the day we're obviously programmed. It's like our day's busy. We have to do this. We got to meet people. We got to do that. Do you know what I mean? So it's like when you really get time to do anything, it's at the end of the day. Do you understand? So that's when I chose to pray.
Do that.
Do you understand? Because that's when everything shuts off and. Do you know what I mean? So now I've got time to myself. Now I will pray.
Okay, interesting. And then, so you built it up that way.
Yeah, I built it up that way. But it's like pray that one and get it on time.
Do you know what? I've had this conversation with a few people, and their biggest thing has always been prayer. And one of my favorite metaphors is, in an Islamic sense, like they say, think of the deen as a cake. If you eat the cake all at once, you're going to be sick. You've got to eat it piece by piece. So you've got to take it one step at a time for you to completely enjoy and indulge in it. And one of my friends, I remember, before she reverted, her biggest thing was learning how to pray. She was like, I don't want to go into the deen without knowing how to pray, all this sort of stuff. And I sent her a lecture, basically. And she took her shahada that night, and I was like, oh my God, my babes, you did it. And then we just, I think so she reverted, and then a week or 2 later, that's when she fully started to try and pray, learning, reading into it, because she reads bare books. And I was like, you see how you just did that, and now it took you a month to go and do that. But it's alright, you made it, do you get it? And I think a lot of people get held back because they feel like they have to come in guns blazing.
Yeah, there is a pressure reverting, or go to not just to Islam, to any religion. It's like now that you have, because people know that you have made the conscious choice to follow this belief, you can now not fuck up in any way. Do you know what I mean? You have to. So it's like.
So is it external then?
What do you mean?
So is it due to other people, or is it an internal struggle?
See, now we're going into my field, the speaking field. Anything that you're allowed to, anything that affects you, you're allowed to do. So opinions only affect you if you're allowed to do it. So if you're heard certain things, and it's like when you see certain things, the way life is, so it's like, okay, cool. Now this person is Christian. They need to go church every Sunday. This is what we create within our minds, and it happens with everything. Right. Do you know what I mean? It's like anything that we do, there's a stereotype, there's a stigma to it. There's something in it that we feel that we have to stick to. Yeah. Do you understand? And it's like that's not the case. That's not the case. You do things. It wasn't until doing Islam properly, how I'm doing it now, that I learned I can do it how I need to do it.
We're lit,
do you know what I mean?
Islam is so lit. I feel like people
Alhamdulillah.
Yo, do you know how lit we are? Like, being a Muslim, yeah, it's everything is just sincerity and intention. Like, you're gonna fall off, like on and off and whatever. Like, you're gonna be all over the place. That's what people don't understand. It's like you are gonna be on and off. There are days you're gonna be high. There are days you're gonna be low. Do you understand? Right. But do not kill yourself if you feel that you've not done enough on a bad day. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, cool. Like, I'm not. Yesterday, I had a bad day and I didn't pray any of my prayers, right? Because mentally I was just messed up, and that was playing a part in what I was doing. But it's like, okay, cool. Like, no, relax. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Relax. Take time.
Do you know what I mean? Obviously, tomorrow is never promised, but if you get the chance tomorrow, you fix what you've done. Yeah. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And with that being my intention, in a state of negativity, which is the hardest state to be positive in this day and age, essentially, I feel and I believe, again, I do not know, but Allah in that moment has gone, cool. Do you understand? It's like, you understand what you did wrong. It's like, so, okay, having kids, when they do wrong, I make them explain to me now, because they're at their age where they can kind of understand. No, yeah, it's 4. Do you know what I mean? So they can kind of understand what's wrong and what's not. Right. So I make them explain to me what they did wrong. And essentially, me having that talk with myself is what I feel Allah is doing with me. So KHALEEM, so you're thinking about what you did wrong. You know you've done wrong. How do you now right it? How do you now fix what you've done wrong?
Do you know what I think with any Muslim, regardless of how you made your way, like, your inner jihad is always going to be your biggest battle. So battling within yourself. Like, even though I was born into Islam or in a Muslim family, whatever, I always say to people, I still came to it. Because, I remember when I was not on deen and now I'm here. So do you get it? So it's a thing where I think whether you're born into faith or not, you will always choose to come into faith. Yeah, do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, yeah.
And that was something I never understood, because a lot of people used to say to me as well, like, oh, like, they say that, because I've reverted, converted, whatever you want to call it, you are a bigger believer than I am. People used to say this to me, people that were born into it. I used to think, I don't get how that makes sense. And it wasn't until it was a taxi driver, actually. It was a taxi driver from Somalia who explained this.
I love my Somali people, man.
Perfectly. And he explained it all, and it was like, okay, because you've made the decision to come to God, whereas I was born in it, and then for time I was ignorant towards it, whatever. And he was just running me through all these scenarios, and I was like, wow.
Do you know, once you realise that everything in this life is a choice, you understand. Like, when I understood being Muslim is actually a choice, that's when I chose to be Muslim. Do you get it? And that's where
everything goes back to intention. And if you look at what Islam is based around, everything is based off intention. Everything that you want to do is what you intend to do. Everything that you don't want to do is what you intend to do.
Look how you speaking, doing your thing. Oh my God. Okay, cool. How was your deen being during lockdown? Whole COVID-19 happened,
I thought you said Kevin-19.
A whole
COVID-19, yeah.
Done came for, what, are we a year in now?
Coming up to.
Do you know anyways, how was that? I don't want to say struggle, because I feel like a lot of people struggled during.
100%.
I remember I spent too much time on Twitter, but I saw another tweet one time, early COVID-19 lockdown vibes, and someone must have said something outrageous. Anyways, there was a tweet that was put out, and it said, if you're not praying all your prayers on time in this lockdown, then how can you call yourself a Muslim? The way I don't publicly shame people. I slid into the DMs and we argued about it, but it's stuff like that bothers me, because just because we're all in lockdown now, we can all be on deen. Make it make sense. So I want to know how you face that. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah. So within that, it's within lockdown. KHALEEM the Speaker became a thing.
Yes, the birth of KHALEEM the Speaker.
Yeah, so it was in lockdown when KHALEEM the Speaker became a thing, and within that, obviously, I had to model myself in a type of way, and obviously having Ramadan last year in lockdown was a struggle, but other than that, I learned to. This is where my understanding came of nothing is going to come to you unless you do it.
Right.
So you want this from this life, and you want this from God.
Right.
So you now need to do this, and that's when I started properly, because I've now got time. Do you understand? I became a Warren Buffett with time. I'm rich in time. Yeah. I can do time. Do you understand? Yeah. So it's like when I need to pray, you know, this is where you learn to schedule it in. Do you understand?
It's discipline.
And so as much as people struggled, I took it as an opportunity to try and raise everything. So not only did I raise myself, but I raised my deen. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Do you know what I mean? So I didn't really find the faith struggle of COVID a big thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get you. But so when we went into, did we spend Ramadan in COVID? Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
So you said that was hard for you though.
Did we spend it in it?
Yeah.
We ain't out of it.
Me, I'm out. Me, I'm out. But
that was hard in the sense of not hard as in, you know, it was the hardest part about it was not being around people, because again, during that time,
your community,
my community was shut off, and I spent a lot of time with Umar and his family and etc. Do you know what I mean? All these external people. So to kind of do, because obviously I'm the only Muslim in my household as well. So to do Ramadan on my own all day, I was missing the connection with people. Do you know what I mean? So that was the hardest bit, but I still managed to kind of keep myself. You know, I did the prayers, I did the lectures, I did trying to read Quran and all of that stuff. I did what I needed to do. Yeah. Do you understand? Okay. But the hardest part of that was the connection with people, because I learn best from sitting talking to people.
Yeah. Same.
Do you understand? And hearing stories and that and stuff
through
like that.
Conversation.
Yeah, because then that's why, like, if you look at the Quran, a lot of the stuff is through stories, and the best way that we learn, which Allah knew we'd learn, is through stories.
You know, that's why the Arabic in the Quran, like the pure Arabic, is the hardest to learn, because it's written in poetry. So if you were going to translate the Quran, you know how English to Arabic Qurans, they're never really accurate, because the way it's written is poetic. Yeah, because and that's the original form is poetic.
I've struggled with that, because obviously reading the English translation, and a friend of mine, whenever I have a question in that sense, I can go to him, because he studies Arabic in Egypt. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, mashallah. So whenever I've got a question like that, I put it to him, and he will put it in it. He will translate it, but he knows obviously I'm still young in the game, so he'll not only will he translate it, but he'll simplify it. So then I get it. Do you understand? So.
Okay. What do you want from like what you do? Like, what is the biggest thing you want the people to take from KHALEEM the Speaker, like 10 years, 20 years down the line, like you're doing your thing, you know, international people know who you are, all that sort of good stuff, you know, success and all of that. What do you want from it? Like, what is your goal?
There are a lot in terms of the biggest one is providing perspective. As I said, that, you know, looking at that other lane where I'm not a teacher, I'm just opening your eyes to something where it's like you can go down here. Do you know what I mean? So it's like that is the biggest thing. So it's like, even though you go through this, doesn't mean you're the only one that goes through this, and it can teach you certain things. So my one struggle of depression, I now know at this moment in time I can send it into 4 different topics of life. Cool. Do you understand? That's 4 different talking topics. Do you understand? And there's potentially more. Do you understand? Yeah. So the biggest thing is to provide perspective and understanding. So that's to not for you to look at your life and go, okay, cool, I can do this mentality, essentially. Do you understand? The Mamba mentality, the 96 balls mentality, that winning mentality. Do you understand? Yeah. It's not just these specific people that have it. We all have it. This is, and you can see it in this. I just need you to look at your life and do it. Do you understand? That's the biggest thing. But then in the same sense, being a role model, a figure essentially as a Muslim man. Love that came from Malcolm. So obviously Malcolm was obviously a revert himself, and again become historical. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that in a sense is because that's just because I love Malcolm. So essentially as well, being an Islamic figure, someone can go, okay, cool, Khalem the speaker, he just, do you know what I mean? He talks about this, but at the same time, he's got faith.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
He's a man of faith.
He's a man of faith. He's a man of
hidden thing.
He's a man of two lifestyles, essentially, and then that in terms of before and after Islam, and then obviously that as well. My kids can look up to that. So when I start teaching them about Islam, the kind of man I carry myself to be, etc. There are a few reasons as to why.
It's the molding of you in your final form. Like, I guess that's your why. Yeah.
It's like obviously there are the
perks.
There are the dunya reasons, but a lot of it is for God.
Right.
Do you understand? And me helping, not teaching, helping. The creation of God to give them a happier life. Because if I carry myself a certain way as a Muslim,
right.
So that may spark somebody's interest in Islam. Why does Khalem speak like this? Why does he carry himself in such a way? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not saying that as I'm this big thing, but it's like either it's that characteristic that someone may pick up on it, and if that relates back to Islam, and then they eventually turn to Allah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Not saying I take credit for that, but it's like you now found where you needed to go. That we feel within Islam. You now find where you needed to go.
Yeah. Oh my god. That's okay. So would you say that your why is your legacy then?
It's more of my I feel it's more of my afterlife than it is my legacy. Yes, a legacy is nice.
Okay.
Because I've tried to build a legacy in terms of my dad passed away when I was 10, and he had a legacy as a DJ, and obviously I remember at his funeral, I had so many people coming up to me, you're the man of the house now, you got to live up to your dad's this, that. Do you know what I mean? So legacy and reputation has always been something on my mind.
Right.
But that took a wrong turn and turned into like a pride, egotistical kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? But having that legacy of being a speaker is a thing, but it's not in the same time.
Okay, what do you mean?
In terms of, I want it because obviously everybody wants their stamp on the earth. Like, what did you do?
Okay.
But if I didn't get it, it wouldn't be something that I'd be disheartened for. As long as I've helped, do you know what I mean? As long as I've helped in what I'm doing, the legacy doesn't matter.
Don't you think that a legacy can intertwine with your afterlife though?
I don't feel so. I don't feel so.
Really?
I don't feel so because a legacy is something that you hold here.
Okay.
Do you understand? It's like, for example, I don't know. I'm just using this as an
okay.
example. I'm just using this as an
It's
example. Let's say if Mufti Menk was to die, inshallah that he doesn't. God forbid.
Yeah, God forbid.
But somebody, let's say 100 years from now, they're not gonna know who he is or what he did in terms of his legacy. His legacy is not gonna be carried into there. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but we can pull up people like Imam al-Bukhari, right? We still use his hadiths and all of his stuff from, like, he's the most authentic.
Are you talking about now or after you've died?
I'm talking, he been done died.
No, so are you talking about in this lifetime here? So it's like me talking about
You're gone, there's people still here. That's what a legacy is.
No, you said taking it with you. Do you know it can help?
No, I said,
that's what you said.
Don't you think it can intertwine?
With your afterlife?
Yeah. If I fight you right now, I swear to God.
This is what so you're not talking how that question is articulated. You're not talking about this plane here. You're talking about the next plane.
Okay, that doesn't make sense to me. I use him as an example for a specific reason, right? People still read his books. People, still pray to him. People do what they do because of what he's left behind, to a certain extent, right? Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess so this is what I'm saying. So your legacy from how you articulated the question, your legacy stays here.
Yeah, but your legacy
it doesn't come with you.
It can fund your afterlife. It can.
For
example, okay, cool. If somebody somebody was known in the community for being like just amazing, like pious, humble, like all the best qualities you could have in a Muslim, and they passed away, and then the community comes together and they decide to dedicate a certain something or a charity in his name or whatever. Now this person has sadaqah jariyah, do you know what that is? So charity that is ongoing because it's being used. For example, if I give a Quran to somebody and they read the Quran, every time they read the Quran, I get a good deed.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Yeah,
or if I donate a water well in somebody's name that's passed away, for example, with my granddad, when he passed away, we built a water well for him, and people use that in the villages in Nigeria. That's Sadaqa Jariyah. That's when good deeds are continuous because of who you work, it's in your name. So your legacy and how you impact this life can intertwine, and furthermore, you know, it will catch you in the next. It will, because there's things written saying that for a lot of people that's what saves them. So go think about that. Go think about that. Yeah, it's mad.
We really need to sit down and look at how you articulate questions.
What do you mean?
Because I get that now. I get what you're trying to say. Right. When you first articulated it, that's not what it. I
said what I said. It makes sense.
So then why didn't I answer it?
That's
because it didn't make sense.
No, because you
exactly it didn't. You
didn't have the capacity in your brain to understand my perspective. That's what I'm saying.
Do you know how many times we have this argument?
I know. I know. Trust me.
We started the whole thing with this argument, and as we've gone on, we found that I was right. But that's cool.
You weren't. Oh my god! I'll flip the table. You weren't right. Oh my god.
Are you saying legacy was more of a thing because when someone's known for something? Whereas a legacy can also be when someone's not known for the same thing. For example, did you say Imam Ghazali?
Yeah, Imam Ghazali or...
Okay, Imam Ghazali, yeah. Cool. There's a lot of saints that we don't know the names of because they go unknown. But I think when you said legacy, he was determined like this. No, in terms of like, that we needed to know the person. For example, Mufti Menk is someone who's known. Imam Ghazali is someone that's known. All these there's big sheikhs that someone's that known, but there's people like Abdullah down the road that prays 5 times a day, gives his charity and gives all this. Essentially, he's not going to have a legacy that people will know about because when he's dead, that is like no one really knew who he was. But your thing still stands.
Of course,
but but the word when people think of the word legacy, they think of when people think of the word legacy, they think of like a known.
It has
legacy.
to be known, but that comes down to your interpretation
of the word. I'm only saying it because
I'm not coming at you. Don't worry.
No, there's been 2 times where I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying it's just the word that you two. That's why sometimes you have to define terms of.
Okay,
this is what you mean by that word. This is what I mean by that word, type of thing.
It's a good thing you came along, you know. We would have been flipping tables.
Again, but we're going back to that word. What you just said, you articulated it better than both of us. It's that word articulate, and that's what I said. So, okay.
I'm going to let you have that. Go on.
No, you have to.
Wow. Alright, cool. Do your thing. Speak on it.
What do you mean? Articulate.
Articulate what?
That's what I'm saying, because the way you articulated your question didn't make sense.
So you're going to come for me because of how I articulate. Yeah, but 101 people understand how I articulate myself. So what's up?
Have I said it's a constant thing?
I don't know what you're trying to say. I'm just
that's what I mean. You're
not fired right now.
You're not listening.
That's just because we're in South.
You know, if we left off, perfect conversation. At no point would the decibels have risen.
Oh my god. Oh my, you guys, no.
I said it's that one question there. The way it was articulated, I didn't get it.
That's your
Do you understand?
own.
And that's what I'm saying.
That's your own.
Raw.
It is.
Okay,
Sorry.
cool.
You want me to come on?
No, it's cool. Next question.
It's cool.
I'm watching her in the comments, all people from South. Yeah, I get what she's saying.
Yeah, London.
London.
Saying. London. Period.
So you have London. I will have the UK.
No.
That's fine.
No, let's not even. If I speak, oh my god. I'm gonna round it off here. I want you to come and just plug yourself, tell the people who you are, where they can find you, all that sort of stuff, and then I'm gonna end on. I have 2 riddles. I have a thing here. I do riddles at the end of everything. Yeah? You're welcome to join it if you want. And I have 2. And nobody has ever guessed the riddle correctly. So let's see if you lot can do it. But plug yourself.
What do I get if I get it?
Nothing.
Chicken shop.
I know what you thought you were at still, but
South, clearly.
Right, go on, plug yourself, let the people know where they can find you, all that sort of stuff.
Oh, okay, cool. People, as I've been said, I am KHALEEM the Speaker. You can find me on Instagram. I'm not on Twitter, so don't even go looking there. You can find me on YouTube as well under the name KHALEEM the Speaker. So please like and subscribe and do all that good stuff. If you are interested in a KHALEEM the Speaker top, I do hoodies. We're working on caps, I believe. But go and check out Dodi Chioto on Instagram. And he has a website as well.
Can I get a cap? I want a cap. And a hoodie.
When you learn to articulate yourself, then we can.
You know what? Yeah.
No, that's fine. We can sort something.
Oh my, Rana, you're just in time for the riddles.
Am I?
Yeah, you are. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna start with an easy one. Okay. Y'all ready? Ron, do you want to get involved in this?
I'll try my hardest.
I've got two. No, I have two. Yeah, I have two. The first one's quite easy. The second one's a bit.
Okay.
Alright, cool. Ready? It is the beginning of eternity, the end of time and space, the beginning of the end, and the end of every space. What is it?
Allah.
Don't come at me with those answers because you know I can't reject it. No, it's not, but not in the riddle. Oh, God. The Haram police are going to come for me differently.
Yeah, watch. Sister, I don't know how you can say this. We will make the word for you.
Okay.
Let's do it again.
It is the beginning of eternity, the end of time and space, the beginning of the end.
E.
Yeah, it's the letter E. Hey.
See, I said two questions. No,
Yeah.
2 answers.
2 answers.
Impenetrable.
Alright, you're not going to get this one though. Facts. Ready? If you have got me, you have got power. But the devil will try and increase the pride within you when you're using me. The second minute, the hour, I will take you to heaven if you act upon me well. But if you misuse me, I am also dangerous enough to take you to hell.
Bro, that's a book. That's not a riddle.
First of all, yeah, you're just going to take what you get. Do you get it? So process it and think of an answer.
Do it again.
It's a deeper one. Okay. If you've got me, you've got power. But the devil will try to increase your pride within you using me every day.
Knowledge.
Yeah, it's knowledge.
You see that? And she said, I won't get it. You're done. You're what?
Wow. Go back to Leicester. Fuck it. You're moving mad. Right. Yep. Guys, that's the end of today's episode. I hope you lot enjoyed it. Check out all of his socials. Will be all in the bio, in the link, whatever the description. I don't know what it is, but it'll be down there.
We need to get you better riddles as well.
You know what? Yeah, I've been looking to get this book. You can buy that for me still. But peace out, guys. Stay blessed.